Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Fred, the submarine guy, coming to you. Today we're going to talk about the nuclear income coaching program that I've created to promote your business like the pros do. So let's get started here. And anyway, I've been marketing online here since right after Al Gore invented the internet. For those of you who don't catch that, that's an old internet joke. But I want to help you succeed in your internet marketing career. I know it's hard, and the information overload is just overwhelming that you're being subjected to. So let's get started here. I've developed what I call a business machine concept that'll help you understand everything that is needed. Now, it's not rocket science. I know you'll find out a little later on, though, I am a nuclear engineer, but this is not rocket science, okay? With a few simple tools and a slightly different way of thinking, you'll be on your way to a nice income from your online ventures. There are only 5 elements to a successful business. First of all, you got to have a killer product or service to sell. You got to have a lead capture page to collect leads. You have to have an email list to educate your prospect, a sales page to sell your product, and a way to collect payments. Now, if it was just that simple, if that's all the 5 things you needed, right, everybody could be doing this. But there's probably 5 to 10 to 15 elements in each of these that can make or break you. And so that's the kind of coaching that I can give you to help you be a big success in your business. Putting those 5 elements in place is easy, but making them bring in an income is just a little bit more tricky, like I mentioned. If you want to learn, I'm willing to teach you. You're going to have to change your marketing tactics to ones that work, though. If you're okay with that, keep reading and keep listening. Now, you've been marketing online, right? You got your product or service and you think it's a great one, best one since sliced bread, whatever, but you're not really having the success you're looking for, I can guess. Now, if you're like me, and I was probably the worst at this, you use that grass is greener on the other side theory for marketing to start with. And then you look for the easy buttons that can give you more traffic or more sales, or I'll promote it for you, or all kind of, great promises that never come to pass. But none of that really works. I mean, if it did, we'd all be rich, right? But now you got frustration and despair setting in. You tried list building. You tried buying leads. You may have tried Facebook ads. You can lose a lot of money there fast. You may have even gotten Russell Brunson's free ebook because he's got a really good sales pitch, and joined ClickFunnels, wasted $100 because it was too hard to implement and it didn't work like you thought it might. So failure results, and yet you see people all around you that are making money hand over fist. So what are you doing wrong? What are you missing? And then you run into my nuclear business machine internet marketing income project with a name that can twist your tongue around. But a nuclear business machine is something that's a little bit different, okay? It's got a big name, but it's based on, like I said, the business machine concept of those 5 things that I mentioned early on. I don't push any shiny cars or 25-room mansion pictures or any of that kind of junk. No bikini girls or washboard stomach men on the beach. This is serious business around which we can craft your product or service to make it a big success. So here it is. It's different, like I said, not like all the others. Now, more on that in a moment. But, not long ago, I was in your shoes. I made over 100K over the years, but I was always plugging money back into those easy button kind of things that I mentioned before. Like I said, I was the world's worst at putting money out for easy button fixes and greener grass mode things. I knew I was doing something right because I was making sales here and there, but I just couldn't figure it out and put it all together over the years to make a consistent income. They all sounded so good on the surface, those easy button things, right? Those one-click traffic wonders, and they have testimonials where they make, $300 a day, $100 a day, $5,000 a month, all that kind of stuff. But nothing worked for long. Finally, I hooked up with a mentor, a coach that taught me about the missing marketing pieces. Okay, I wasn't far off, and you probably aren't either, right? For me, it just boiled down to some persistence and focus over the long term, and a little bit more expertise in copywriting, which I'll teach you right up front. And then I hit the jackpot. Everything was finally coming together. And I did it without spending a lot of extra money. It was sort of like the butterfly effect, where the butterfly flaps its wings in South Dakota and causes a typhoon in Southeast Asia kind of thing, right? It's the small efforts over time create a lot of power for the longer term, right? Small actions, large effect. That's what you need in business. And it's really the golden thread that weaves this all together in a real simple to understand manner. Now, I promise you, I've removed all the smoke and mirrors and the fluff and just got down to basics. And you will have to do some work, okay, because you know your product or business better than I do, obviously. But I don't want there to be any loose ends for you at this time. I don't want there to be any missing pieces. You won't be doing what the crowd of losers is doing, right? All those easy button people. Now, when they go left, you probably ought to go right, okay? Do the opposite of what the crowd's doing. You want to be unique, you'll be important, and you'll be special, and you'll be making money with what I teach you. And you're going to understand the importance of the business machine like you understand the importance of breathing. It's that important. And you'll use it 24/7 to set you free financially with your business running in automatic. So I don't think there's any other way, except, of course, if you hit the lottery, and you know what those odds are, right? So let's get your nuclear internet marketing business machine project started right now. There's no looking back. Once you get this set up, you'll be pulling in cash like you never thought possible. It's going to take us about 10 weeks. We'll be building this around your business, and you are going to have to work and do some hard work. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I want you to do. We'll be collaborating on your business machine architecture, right? This is not a cut and paste course that everybody follows the same template, right? Your business will be different than everyone else's. I don't accept any whiners, criers, or complainers. I use Donald Trump's mantra there, you're fired. I'll give you a refund if you start whining and crying and complaining, because there's no room for any of that. You're not going to have success at every turn, right? You've got to be set up for failures every now and then so that you'll know what doesn't work. Believe me, I've got more failures under my belt than I do successes, but I've got more income also because of those failures, because I learned from them. You got a problem, you email me and expect an answer, okay? We're going to move fast. Like I said, it's going to be done in 10 weeks, but you'll be surprised how fast that goes by. So you're going to need about 10 to 15 hours per week. You're going to have to do homework. It's going to be just like school. I'm the teacher, you're the coach, or I'm the teacher and the coach, and you're the student. I'll be giving you homework assignments and expect you to complete them every week. Now, once your business machine is up and running, there'll be no looking back, only forward to bigger profits. And I'll provide the roadmap, you provide the expertise and power to move along at a rapid pace. So what is the business machine? It's the summation of all the things you need to have in place to be a successful internet marketer. Funnels were popular well, in fact, they still are. Build a funnel, sales funnels, and there's all these graphics that show a funnel, but really it's only a part of your business machine, and the business machine is much, much more than just a funnel. Okay, so for instance, you're going to need a powerful offer for your perfect customer. And you'll get some of that in lesson 2. You'll need a series of unique lead capture pages. This is where most people fall down. They use duplicates or somebody else's pages, and they just become, part of the crowd, right? Nobody thinks they're any different. Nobody thinks they're unique, because they're not, right? The biggest thing that you can do to bring in more income too is by using your thank you page or your delivery page where you deliver a lead magnet, because that's where you have the highest readership and glue that is grabbing people's attention on your product or service right there. I'll teach you how to build those thank you pages and make more money on a thank you page than you ever thought possible. An email series that drives people to action. Most people fall down terribly on email. 80% of all sales are made between the 5th and the 12th contact. Most folks don't get past the second contact, much less the first, right? I'm going to teach you how to do that. You'll be making sales along the way, and get into that 80% category. And we'll bring in some alternate offers for you to bring in even more cash. And of course, we'll have a constant flow of targeted visitors. Visitors is probably the easiest thing you'll have. We'll build this around your business. I want you to understand, I'm not trying to get you to join my business or any of that kind of stuff. This is going to be built around your business, and we're going to put all this together, this nuclear income business machine together, to start bringing in the income you've been looking for in your business. So when you're ready, we'll do that. Remember, there's only 5 elements to a successful business: a killer product or service, which hopefully you already have, a lead capture page to collect leads, an email list to educate your prospect, a sales page to sell your product, and a way to collect payments. And I've got details on exactly what you need in each one of those. Let's look at a couple of my favorites too that I can show you some training, part of the training that I give you that you'll be getting as part of this course. First of all, we'll talk about lead capture pages and how to make them successful. And then I'll dive in for a few slides on follow-up and talk about that 80% rule. So here's lead capture pages. I call this 10 or more tips to get it right. To get more prospects to buy your stuff, right? Actually, I started with 10. I think I ended up with 12 or 13 or 14. I can't remember. I lost kind of track, but I'll have to update the header slide here sooner or later. First of all, what is a lead capture page, right? This is the first page in your business machine, right? Most people don't put much concentration on their lead capture pages. But it's the first entry into your marketing world for your prospects. So you want to make a good impression. It not only captures the email address, but it also promises a lead magnet or something of value in exchange for people putting in their email address. There's a lot of different formats. You can use bullets, text. You can use graphics with pictures or words. You can use videos. I'll teach you how to do all that kind of stuff. The key components, of course, are a headline, an offer, a call to action, and then the form that they fill in to get on your email list. Again, less is more on the lead capture page. So why have a lead capture page? Here's that 80% rule. 80% of all sales are made between the 5th and the 12th contact. Some people say that it's even up to maybe the 20th or more contacts that you start making those kind of sales. So obviously follow-up is the name of the game. The lead capture page is the input for your lead funnel and your follow-up system. It's going to get people into your autoresponders, so you'll be able to email them as frequently or as often as you like. It entices the prospect to surrender their email address. And again, it's your initial branding opportunity. So you could have your picture on it, or your icon, or your logo, or something like that. I wouldn't go too far overboard to brand it, because that's not the main purpose of the lead capture page. The main purpose is to collect that email address from that person, right? And overall, the lead capture page is designed to match your prospect to an eventual sales product or service. Here's a little graphic I made up of the sales process. You advertise over here in a lot of different ways, a lot of different formats, but you always send them to a lead capture page like we just talked about. And then you deliver this lead magnet, this valuable item that you are giving them. It's either maybe a PDF document or a series of videos, maybe audio files, something like that, to educate your prospect on different things. So we'll talk about a lot of details about what to put into your lead magnet and that kind of thing. That also puts people on your email list, so you can send them series of emails, either pre-programmed or broadcast emails. And then your email list can drive them back to your marketing funnel and info pages and sales pages and things like that, where eventually they'll buy something from you, generate dollars for you, which goes into your bank account. Okay, so that's sort of the sales process in a nutshell. Obviously, there's a lot more detail there, but here's the lead magnet. Value, 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 sell, sell, sell is the email series kind of thing, and that sort of thing. So the importance of the delivery page, we talked about that earlier, but the reason this is so important is it not only delivers your lead magnet or your promise to the prospect, but it's also the place where you have the most readership. In other words, the highest readership ever possible for your prospect. In other words, you'll have his engagement near 100% of the time because he's there to get his promised value product, right? The lead magnet. So he's going to be there right after he fills the form, and your readership or your engagement will never ever be higher. Just think about that now. If you could write an email that would be opened 100% of the time and people would click your link 100% of the time, that's the equivalent of what you have here, right? Of course, that will never happen, but when people are going to your delivery page to get your lead magnet, they're 100% engaged in getting that lead magnet, and that will never ever be higher in your marketing career. You can do some branding there, get them to know, like, and trust you. It's a good place for a short introduction video saying, thank you for getting my product. Click the link here to download it or to view it or whatever the case is. And then you can also offer bonus material, either free items or another paid item in, of course, the same marketing venue or the same product niche that the original opt-in was for. So it's a great time to make a sale of a low cost product, or to give extra value, especially to give extra value on your lead magnet to give a little extra for the prospect. Consistency is the key, and that goes also, if you hear the word congruency or congruent, the product needs to be, or everything on the page needs to be congruent with the initial offer, or the same venue or the same niche as the initial offer. In other words, if you advertise 10 ways to lose weight before the summer, and you deliver that plus a make money online kind of thing, those are not congruent, right? They may be related eventually, but you've got to stay in the same topic area as your original offer was for, to keep the prospect interested. Okay, so that's the consistency part. Again, the delivery page, the thank you page, your prospect engagement is near 100%. They're there to get their stuff, right? And so if you can engage them with a short video or a couple of extra downloads and that kind of thing, it'll go really far in establishing your credibility and getting a future sale out of that prospect. So here's a couple of lead capture pages that I've used just so you can see they're not high tech or anything. You don't need any software to do this or anything like that. These are all done on my blog. You can make headlines in different color fonts. You can put your form in there. You can put bullets over here. You can make a horizontal format. You can make a vertical format like here. I also make them with videos with the form on the right and the headline up here. I also make them with graphics and the form on the bottom. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do with lead capture pages in your blog. It's pretty simple, and I'll teach you that very specifically in lesson, I think it's lesson 3, we start making lead capture pages. Here's a couple more. These are all video driven. There's a video here, a form on the right. Again, headline, subheadline. I try to keep the text to a minimum. These were some early ones I did that I had probably too much text on here. But you can see you can put in videos here, headlines in the form, and get good results, right? Key factors for your lead capture pages. We're going to look at each one of these in detail, but you want them to be unique, focused, have some simple branding on them. Video is going to help a lot, and A/B testing is the last thing we'll talk about here. So let's look at each of these. First of all, they got to be unique. Don't ever use someone else's lead capture page. it makes you look like, part of the crowd. You're not going to be unique. You're not going to stand out. Two, it's probably not optimized. Three, you probably can't change it if you want to test it, and you'll see in a couple of slides how important that is. Always be able to create your own lead capture pages so that you control the message and you control the opt-in. Okay, this is where your sales process starts. You need to take charge of it. Key factor number 2, attention to detail on your lead capture page. One, you want to get your prospect's attention and keep it. So the message on your lead capture page has to be short and to the point, and only one message, right? One specific, clear, concise call to action. Again, it's got to be congruent with the headline, with the deliverable kind of thing. One form line is that obviously you got to capture the email address. I frequently will amend that and capture their first name as well, so I can customize the emails to them. You can make your own unique submit buttons. I'll show you how to do that for free using a free service called canva.com. Those are easy. Again, it makes your lead capture page unique. You want to eliminate distractions. So if there's any things that like footers or extraneous graphics or social icons or any of that kind of stuff, get those off your lead capture page. You want the prospect to be focused on getting his email address in your form and getting your promised lead magnet. That's all you should have. Once you do a lot of testing and stuff and you find that your lead capture page is pulling in the range of 50 or 60%, I would say you could add in maybe privacy, contact, and terms and conditions kind of pages, links to them at the bottom. The one reason for this is that will put some search engine optimization power into your page so that when Google looks at it, it'll say, hey, this has got privacy, contact, terms and conditions. This must be a permanent page. Let's see what else I might link it in for, so you can get some search engine optimization and maybe pick up some leads that way. So, but don't worry about these things to start. You can add those in months later. So number 3, branding. Again, don't worry too much about branding. I don't do much branding either. I use the term submarine guy or the submarine guy. My wife made me this little logo here. I found these black and white logos here and here. I use in the header on one of my blogs. But, other than that, in my picture, I don't really do a lot of branding or anything. Your name is probably about all you need. Icons, graphics, make sure they're simple, etc. And I don't remember what I put shareable for there. I'm not sure. Or you could get yourself a logo. You can go over to Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and for $5 or $10 you can get yourself an icon or a logo made if you want. But other than that, I wouldn't go too much don't worry too much about branding. Video. I want to spend a few minutes on video here because video will just explode your lead capture page efficiency and get more people to opt in. According to the Contemporary magazine, a video on a landing page can increase conversions by upwards of 86%. That's almost doubling your opt-in rate. So, it's definitely worth learning how to do a video. It only has to be 30, 45 seconds long. Obviously, it can't, be a long expose or anything. It's got to be a consistent message with the headline and repeat the call to action. And you can be excited in the video, but don't be hypey and that kind of thing. The other big thing about a video is if you save them in YouTube, you can put some open and close graphics on them. So if the video is not playing, the opening graphic will show in its place, and you can have your picture, your branding, your logo, a bullet point or two, whatever on that initial graphic so that you can get the message across even without the video playing. But look at this stat. I mean, upwards of 86% increase in conversions just by using a video. Kind of makes you say, geez, I better use a video. I'll teach you how to do this. It's pretty easy. A/B testing. This is where most people fall down, and it's one of the more simple things you can do to increase your conversion rate on your lead capture page. And I mean increase by like doubling or tripling your conversion rate. Basically what you do is you use the same page and you just change one element on the lead capture page at a time, right? So you might change the headline text, the size, the font, the color. If you got a graphic on the page, you might change to a different graphic. If you got bullets, you might want to change to a different bullet format, either text, size, font, or color. Different kind of form elements, a lot of different things you can change, but just change one thing at a time. So you have a lead capture page with your original lineup and then a second lead capture page with your modified headline, let's say. Then test with an equal number of impressions on both of those sites. And I'll show you exactly how to do that with a tracker service that basically sends one hit to one site, one hit to the other site, back and forth, and keeps them equal. And then you keep the winner, the one that converts best, and discard the loser, and then go back to line number 1, where you start changing another thing and testing that. So let's look at an example here. This is a page I did in the summer of 18. I started out with this form, or these pages had just a graphic and the lead capture form on them. So the graphic had all of the headline and everything, and the testing was done by changing the text on the graphic. Now I can show you how to do that again in Canva. It's really easy, but you can see on this one I changed the headline in both the blue or green or whatever color that is and the red in these, and I went from 0.33% conversion to a 0.41. Not bad. Okay, got another 7%, 8% there. Not too bad. I kept the form the same. So I said, okay, well, now this one is better than this, so I'm going to trash this one. And I keep the 0.41. And I didn't change the blue headline, but I changed the red headline. Kept the same form here, and I went from 0.41 to 0.65% conversion. And basically what that means is from this form to this form, I went from 0.33 to 0.65. I doubled my conversion rate by just changing the words on the form. Okay? So if I got 100 subscribers by using this one and use the same lead source for this one, I would get 200 subscribers because it converts twice as well. Do you see the importance here of testing? All I had to do was create a new version of this graphic, like I said, which you can do in Canva. It's very easy, and run some more traffic to it to see what the conversion rate was. Once you know this number, then you can trash both of these and only run this one, or you could use this one as your control and change something else to see if you can get better than a 0.65% conversion rate. The reason these are so low overall is these are done with SafeList, and the conversion rates are really low on SafeList anyway, but it's the relative change that I want you to see of how you can double your conversion from one graphic to another just by changing the words on the graphic, right? And obviously there's, I could take the logos off of here. I could change the color to red and then blue. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to test and see how your conversion rate changes. And some things that you change, you might have no idea would make for a better conversion. We could talk for hours on conversion rates and improving your forms, but that's the importance there. It's easy to do. That's one of the things I teach in my course, so you'll be able to get the benefit of that and make that work for you. All right, So, key factors for your lead capture page. This is a review. Make sure they're unique. Don't use somebody else's. Make sure they focus and are congruent from page to page and message to message. Use simple branding. Don't go overboard with your branding. Obviously, if you can use video, you can almost double your conversion rate there. And A/B testing, obviously, is most important. So what's next on lead capture pages? One, how to create them, how to A/B test them with track.me, how to follow-up sequence, how many timings, response, and that kind of stuff. I've got a longer training on this at this track.me link right here. So let's talk about follow-up here. This is my favorite topic of all. 5 critical topics you must cover every time in your follow-up sequence. Let's get started here. First of all, here we are back to this statistic again. 80% of all sales are made between the 5th and the 12th contact, sometimes up as far as the 20th contact or more. Most entrepreneurs fail here. They do not follow up sufficiently and properly so that they can get in that 80% category. Email can really string it all together for you, though, and that's the other place that people fall down, is they don't concentrate on capturing the email address in their lead capture form for their prospects. Using audio and video and pictures in your blog and that kind of stuff all help to drive your message home. I say different strokes for different folks here. What I mean there is that people like to receive messages in different formats. Some people like video, some people like audio, some people just like to read it on your blog. So I think it's important to give your prospect numerous ways, different ways to read your message, even if it's the same message, right? You can use duplicate content if it's yours, right? If you write something on your blog, then you can convert it into a video. You could also convert it into an audio and it essentially gives the same message in 3 different formats. And different people like different ways of receiving their content. So make sure you give it to them. Right? That's why we advocate the use of a blog, because you can do your lead capture pages there, you can do your sales pages there, you can do your all of your pages there. Okay. So how do we warm up our prospect in the follow-up sequence? And this is probably where most people need to learn how to do things. The biggest thing I can tell you here is in building up your know, like, and trust factors is talk to people like you're talking to one person. Talk to your prospect like you're talking to one person. And that's why we concentrate on defining your project avatar, your perfect customer, if you will, so that you can know his wants and desires, his fears, what keeps him awake at night. All those things play into your message back to him on your blog, on your video, in your email series, so that he can come to know, like, and trust you. The big factors here that I've got in the gold bullets there: awareness and intrigue. We'll talk about that in a minute. Consideration and agitation. And then conversion. Obviously, you got to convert him to make the sale, to buy your product or service. Loyalty, solidifying the sale. And then advocacy, making him a customer for life. Again, this is something that many entrepreneurs fail to keep up with, and it plays back into the follow-up argument too. If you follow up with your prospect after the sale, and he can become a good advocate for you and a customer for life, then you've got an income for life. Okay. So let's look at each of these and how this might define your $100,000 client profile, is what I call it. Awareness and intrigue. First of all, they need to know who you are, right? If you think about a prospect coming up on your lead capture page, he doesn't know you from Adam. Contrast that to going to his favorite store, his favorite restaurant, where he's familiar with the storefront, he's familiar maybe with the cashiers or the salespeople, he's familiar with the product line, he knows what the product pricing structure is. He's comfortable shopping there, right? There's no fear that he's going to get ripped off or anything like that, right? Contrast that to coming across your page, doesn't know you from Adam, so you've got to get that know, like, and trust factor up by, one, introducing yourself, and telling the prospect about you, about your product, about your service, and how it might solve his problem. And this gets into knowing your prospect's fears and desires and those kind of things, so that you can relate it back to the benefits to him of your product features, right? So, and what's your story kind of thing? If you've got a story with a product that is a rags to riches story, or a fat loss story for weight loss products or things like that, this is where you can start telling your story. Okay? Consideration and agitation. The consideration is where you want to make your prospect consider the idea that there might be a solution to his problem or pain with your product or service, right? And again, here, talk in your emails about the value of the benefits of your product or service, not the features. Don't tell me how it's built or how big it is or how much it costs or any of that stuff, but tell me the benefits. What's it going to do for me? In terms of weight loss, if you're selling a weight loss product, it's going to make you look good on the beach for picking up guys, or it's going to make you slim and trim for the fall Thanksgiving party, or whatever, whatever their fears and action and things they're looking for are, right? Agitation is one thing that we probably don't do enough of, and this is in terms of, well, what if you don't solve your problem? The pain of not solving the pain of inaction, that kind of thing. In other words, you're going to get what you've already got, right? Do you want to continue living with that extra, bulge around your waist, that kind of thing? So kind of agitate that pain, stir up the pain a little bit, stir up the cause, the inaction cause, so that you can get the prospect more and more interested in getting your solution. Conversion. Obviously, this is where you make the sale, again, based on the overwhelming benefits that your product or service has to solve your client's problems. If you've got testimonials, either from your customers or from your company's customers, this is a good place to show those. Again, they work back to make the conversion for the sale. Again, here we are in loyalty. This is after the sale. This is where you go back to your customer and say, hey, how's it working for you? Did you get the usage instructions? Are you getting the benefits from the product? How's it working for you? That follow up with your prospect either by phone or by email, and get some feedback so that you can make sure the prospect knows that you're interested in their success with your product. And if they're not having success, you can help them either with different way to use the product or service, or with a different combination, or maybe they need to take twice as much of it, or whatever the case may be, right? So loyalty after the sale if solidifying it after the sale. If you follow up after the sale with your prospect, again, your prospect's going to know, like, and trust you even more. And then advocacy, sort of like the previous one, sort of like the loyalty thing, but keep up with your customer and keep, if he's a avid user of your product or service and likes it, ask for a testimonial, either video, audio, or written, and ask him or her if it would be okay if you use that testimonial on your sales products, right? To get more people interested. And also, you can ask them for referrals. If they know people that would like the product or would like your service, if you could refer them, then you'll get some good referrals. That's a good way to get introduced to new prospects. It's sort of like the poster child idea, right? If you think about how St. Jude's Children's Hospital advertises, right? They always showed you the kids in the wheelchair, the kids doing Special Olympics and that kind of thing. It's the poster child concept of, hey, here's how this service benefits all these kids in case of St. Jude's, right? You want to do the same thing for your product or service and get your own testimonials from your customers. Okay? That'll go far to help you make more sales. So, summary here, or this is kind of some odds and ends on follow-up. The key is really the key to success. How often should you follow up? Well, first of all, you send them the welcome message right away, right? And then I teach you to do a thing called the plus 6 hour reply concept, right? If you, about 6 hours after you send the welcome email, and you can do this with your email program, if you ask them to reply to answer a question or to make sure they got your welcome or whatever, that is a good time for them to interact with you, just to reply and say, yes, I got it. Thanks for the follow-up. Yes, it's working, or yes, yes, it came with everything it's supposed to come with, or whatever you ask for, right? So the 6 hour please reply engages the customer at a point where he's just gotten your product or service, and is a good point to interact with your customer. And then after the opt-in, it depends on you as to how often you follow up with them. I say here daily, every other day, 2 times a week, 1 time a week. Let me give you my example. I started building my email list a couple years ago, and at first when I was building it, I would email them once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. I wasn't very consistent. And when I finally got a coach, he said, hey, your prospects need to hear from you more often. So I set a goal for daily emails. And over a period of about 3 months, I got up to Monday through Sunday daily emails. I did that for about 6 months. And then I surveyed my prospects, and I said, hey, is daily too much? I'm thinking about going to, like 3 times a week plus a Saturday summary. How would that be? And 100% of them said, yeah, 3 times a week is enough, plus a Saturday summary is fine. So now I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday emails, marketing emails, and Saturday summary is just a summary of the Monday, Wednesday, Friday emails. So that's kind of how I did it. Daily may be too much. It's probably a good goal. But I would say, 2 to 3 times per week before you make the sale, right? For people that are on your list, and then probably twice a week after you make the sale to follow up with them to see if they need any more, to see if they have any referrals for you, those kind of things, right? So again, each time you contact your customer or your prospect, is a chance for them to know, like, and trust you that much more. In my Monday, Wednesday, Friday emails, I typically send out training, education items Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And sometimes on Friday I'll send out a sales pitch, and sometimes on the Saturday summary I'll send out a sales pitch, or maybe I'll send out another educational email at that point too. Each email, of course, contains my footer that says, hey, if you're ready, check out these offers below where I have some offers for sale. And those get hit every time I send an email, okay? So that's a good way to do that. I teach that in my email series. I show you how those look and how to format those so they don't look too much like sales pitchy kind of things, right? Again, make sure every message has a call to action. Either call them to read an article on your blog, watch a video on YouTube and comment, any of those kind of things. Specific actions for the prospect to take is the call to action part. Follow-up. Key to success number 2, vary the format, right? Remember I said earlier that people like to get their messages in different formats. So feel free to send them to your blog for an audio, video, a PDF, or combinations of any of these, right? and so that you can give them more variety in how you present your communication, and give them alternate ways to view your communication. So content is kind of the elephant in the room, and I've debated whether or not to put that in this webinar, but let's go over these things pretty quick. The biggest complaint I hear about daily emails or 3 times per week email is, what do I send? What kind of topics could I send? Well, in my case, I'm an online marketer, and that's the topic of my e-zine, right, is online marketing. So I've got a wealth of information, a lot of experts that are, doing way better than me and how they do things and that kind of thing. So there's basically, if you're an expert in your business, your product or your service, then there's any of those kind of things should be related to your product or service that you can write about to either corroborate what you're saying, third-party testimonials kind of thing, other people's expertise kind of things, that sort of thing. You could also give them outlines or checklists. Frequently, people like those kind of things for list of items or things like that. You could do a demo of your product or service if it's something that's you can do a demo for. You could also offer to send out samples. There's companies that do that. You can send out announcements if there's a webinar with a leading expert coming up or something like that. Or you're going to do Facebook Live or YouTube Live. You can send out an announcement for that. You can also do the 4-video promo. If you follow Jeff Walker and you know the 4-video format, you could do a format for that. You could do a webinar on different topics of your product or service. 30 minutes to 60 minutes is generally about all you want to do. Seinfeld email. If you haven't thought about it, a lot of the emails you get from marketers these days are just like what happens at my house kind of thing, right? That term was coined a while back. I can't remember who the originator was, but one of the marketers that I followed, he sent out an email in the morning, which was just about what's happening around the house. The dog pooped on the rug, the kids are crying, we got snow today, or whatever it was. No point to it, no lesson, no anything. And then the only thing he said was, watch for my email in the afternoon. And the afternoon email was the marketing email, the sales email, that kind of thing. So this guy sent, talked about me doing one a day being too much. This guy sent 2 a day. He sent the Seinfeld email in the morning and a sales email in the afternoon. Made a ton of money. Okay. So you can send a Seinfeld email. I sort of do a combination. I have some Seinfeld kind of stuff up front in my emails to help people get to know, like, and trust me, and then I might go into a sales pitch or a marketing pitch or a training session, after that kind of thing. Story sell. If you got a story behind your product or your service, either a personal story or a prospect story, make sure you tell it or have them tell it and relate the video, that kind of thing. Other sources for material. PLR is private label resale rights materials. And basically what those are materials, topical materials that are created by a person or a company, and then they sell you the rights to use them as your own. Okay? So private label resale is what PLR means. There's a lot of good PLR around. There's some that's really crummy, that you can tell English is not their first language, that kind of thing. Good PLR can help you a lot to give you good stuff to use right off the shelf. I would encourage you to use PLR as a baseline sort of thing and modify it with your own words, add in your own experience or knowledge or those kind of things to sort of use it as a baseline for some of your articles. So PLR is good for that kind of stuff. You can also copy gurus. There's gurus in every industry, and you can copy what they're talking about and what they're preaching on their blogs, right? You can't copy exactly, but you can take notes and put it in your own words kind of thing. Similar kind of thing, follow the experts in your industry. Google Alerts is a cool thing. If there's news articles around your topic, or your product or service, you can create an alert with Google to send you an email summary of the news item, right? And I forget what the details are, but you can have them send it like mine come once a day, once every 24 hours, or like right after midnight or so. You can also set them to send you emails like, more frequently, like every hour or every 30 minutes or immediately, or I forget what all the options are, but Google Alerts can be real powerful in pulling in new content for you, right? You can get new news kind of alerts with those and put those in your emails as well. So let's review. Again, 80% of all sales are made through the 5th and the 12th contact. Some say as high as the 20th contact. Your email list has to be in place in order to do that for you. You can't do that yourself. You'd kill yourself, right? Email follow-up is used to build up your know, like, and trust factors. We talked a lot about that. Varying the format, use video, audio, and written formats. Content, I gave you some ideas of what to write about, what to talk about. And to just be the expert, continue learning in your chosen field, your product or your service. And use, a lot of people have taught the learn, do, and teach concept, right? If you learn something and then you go do it, then you can go teach it, right? And to teach it, you can do a video like this. I'm just using Google content or Google Docs kind of format here for the slides, and screencast capture, for the video. Pretty easy to do that. So what's in the Nuclear Income Coaching Program? First of all, I got a basic outline for you, but it'll be customized to you, right? I got to put something on the paper here, but I want you to understand this is about your business and creating the nuclear income, nuclear business machine around your product or service. Okay, it's your business is the focus, your success is the focus, and your income is the focus. So here's the things that are possible. Understanding and defining your mission, setting up your business machine basics, obviously. How you're going to help society. In other words, who's your target market here that you're going to go after, and how are you going to help them? Exploiting your expertise, we'll talk about that a little more. Week 5 is your first lead capture page and your giveaway. Week 6 is your offer letter. And then stringing it all together as in the business machine. Then we go look at in week 8, maybe a little sooner, where are your main customers hiding out, right? Where are you going to go and find your best customers, and how we're going to target them there. Getting your first opt-in, obviously, once we get your lead capture page up and going, and then scaling for profits. And I think this is probably, I didn't talk about this a lot, but setting up a business machine allows you to scale for profits once you get the first product or service going and running pretty much in automatic, right? Once that's running in automatic, then you can develop another product or have another service that you can add in or on the tail of or before or after your first product, and you can start scaling on that for maximum profits. The delivery format for the training, each week we'll have a main video or 2 or 3 for the main and subtopics. We'll do a weekly Zoom conference discussions probably on Thursday or Friday, and then of course we'll have weekly homework assignments and reviews and critiques of those during the Zoom conferences. You'll have email question and answer. I can guarantee a 24-hour turnaround Monday through Friday. I'm usually quicker than that, but every now and then I might get backlogged, and especially if you hit me at the end of the day kind of thing. So that's kind of the delivery format and how you're going to access me weekly during the Zoom conferences, and then email Q&A 24 hours, within 24 hours. So to get opted in, go over to thesubmarineguy.com/nuclear coaching, capital N, capital C, thesubmarineguy.com/nuclear coaching, capital N, capital C. Get your business machine set up here. And here's some bonuses too. There's we're going to have all these lead capture pages. So what are you going to put on them? I got you covered here. 300 power words and phrases and 12 fill-in-the-blank killer headline formulas. These are copied from the winners of or the winning gurus in my industry. You're going to love this. This you'll never be at a loss for what to write in using this. I've got a 15 video series on how to create your first info product. If you don't have an info product yet, you'll get that as well. I've got a professional Aweber training series. If you want to use Aweber, which is the autoresponder I use, I'll give you that. These are all free, the bonuses. And then you're going to get an additional 42-week additional coaching calls with me weekly that will be going through more marketing topics. Here's some customer testimonials. I'm not going to read these to you. You can kind of screenshot them or come back and read them later if you want. So if you're interested, go over to thesubmarineguy.com/nuclear coaching, capital N, capital C, and grab that business machine product over there, and we'll get you going. Thanks, and have a great day.